Okay, so in the last video I mentioned that we're going to need to have a collection of previous rooms in order to be able to go back multiple times, and that's actually this challenge exercise 626. Because we noticed that if we type back twice, things don't work right. And also, if we have gone already and we backed up to the entrance, we still have something stored in previous rooms, so we have to do something. So we're not going to store just a previous room. We're going to store a collection of rooms that we visited. Okay. Let me get rid of this guy. So, actually, before we get started, there's a little bit of redundant code here. We have this bit where we set the current room to something and print out the get long description, and we're doing the same thing in Go room, this current room and that. And I just for cohesion's sake here, let's just create a maybe this can be private of enter room, and this is just going to do the it's going to do this business from here. Okay, so we'll copy this and paste that in. Alright, and so now in our Go room we can say enter room, next room, and in our back we can say enter room, previous room. Okay, so you see how this is basically the same code. We're setting the current room to a different room, and then we're printing out the description for the current room. So we have that. So now we've taken that code and isolated it right here. All right, and then it just makes things clearer. Now you're saying, okay, I'm going to enter the room now. All right, so now, but what we want here is instead of using previous room, we want to have a collection. And when you think about it, one of the things you want to think about is what's a good collection to use. In this case, what we're doing is implementing something that programs refer to as a stack. So the idea here is, the idea behind a stack is, if you think about, like, sometimes you see these in cafeterias, they have like, or if you go to a buffet in a restaurant or something, they'll have a stack of plates that kind of like there's this thing where you can stack all the plates, something you can stack all the plates on, right? So the last plate that got put onto the stack is the first one that gets taken off, right? And that's kind of what you want to do with this room business, with the previous room. The last room that you visited is the one you want to go back to, right? And you want to, and think about it, if you think of going to a new room as putting a new plate on the stack, right? And then when you go back, you want to take a plate off, right? And then your top plate is now the last room you visited, and you can keep taking plates off and going back and back through rooms that way. Okay, so every time you go to a room, you put a plate on the stack, and every time you come back from a room, you take a plate off the stack. Okay, so there is a Java class. Let's look at Java class libraries. called stack. Okay. And a stack is a very common data structure, so you could probably Google it and find more information about it too. Stack. All right. So, so basically, really the only things that we need to be able to implement is push and a pop. So you push something onto the stack is like putting a plate on the stack, and popping something off is taking the plate off the stack. Okay, and it's a generic, so just like with array list, where you can say the name of the thing that you want to put on the stack, you can do it like that. So let's see what that would look like. So here, instead of doing previous room, what we're going to do is we're going to say private. We're going to have a stack of rooms. Okay, so room history. All right. So now let's see, where did we use previous room? Do a search on that. Find. Next. Okay. So we initialize previous room in here. So instead of initializing previous room, we're going to initialize our room history. So we'll say room history. And the way you initialize a stack is similar to the way you do like an array list or whatever. You say new stack room. And don't forget your parentheses there. Okay, so we're going to create a stack. And then where else do we have previous here? Okay, so when we go to a room, that's when we want to push something onto the stack. Okay, so we want to say, instead of setting the previous room to the current room, we're going to put the current room on the stack. We're going to say room history dot push current room. So now we're putting that current room, just like I said, like putting the plate on the stack, we're putting that current room on the stack. And then where else do we have previous room? Let's see. Here it is. If previous room equals null. So now this is kind of nice because we can solve a couple of problems at once here. We can if you think about it, because remember we had two problems with checking to see if you could go back, right? One was if you at the very start of the game, if your previous room was null, you knew that you couldn't go back, right? But if you went to another room, as soon as you go to another room, your previous room gets a value, and when you go back to the entrance, your previous room is still going to get set to something. It's not going to be null. It's never going to be null again because you're always setting it to a room or not setting it to anything, right? So, but with the stack, what we can do is every time we go to a room, we put a plate on. When we go back, we keep taking plates off. Well, if there are no more plates left, we know we can't go back, right? So what we can do is just check to see room history. Oh, there's one other thing here in that we'll be able to use, and that is this empty guy right here. This is a test to see if the stack is empty. Alright, so we can do that. So if room history dot empty, you can't go back from here. Otherwise, now we don't have we're not going to use the previous room anymore. We're going to pull off the last plate, the most recent plate off the stack. So we're going to say, actually we could just stick well, yeah, let's just stick it here. You could say room history pop. Okay, and you're going to enter that room. Okay, because you wouldn't be able to get here unless there was a plate to pop, right? Because if you're empty, that won't work. So I think we did our to-dos. Let's see. Get rid of the, oh, I forgot the import, didn't I? So let's see here. Let's put it up way up at the top. Let's see. Import java.util.stack. Okay. And that should work. If this actually it might be if this isn't clear, you could also write it like this, right? You could say previous. We can make a local variable to hold this. And then just say previous room in here. Alright. So that it's the same thing, right? I was just sticking that inside there. But anyway, however you want to write it, either way is fine. Alright, so we got everything compiled. And we have a new game. Oh, okay, let's play. So now we say we're in the entrance hall, we say go south. We're in the living room, we say go east. We're in the study, we say back. We're back in the living room, we say back. We're back at the entrance, we say back. You can't go back. Okay, so you might want to test it out some more. You want to say, like, try it with other things here and stuff like that. But anyway, so that's the gist of it. So that should help you with exercises 23 through 26.